Picture this. You've spent most of your life believing you're average at best. Not ugly, not striking, just invisible in the noise. No one stops mid-street to stare. Women don't flood your DMs. And the mirror gives you no special reason to think otherwise. You've accepted the background role, the guy who blends in. But what if I told you that you've been wrong all along? That you're far more magnetic than you think, not because of looks, but because of something deeper you've never learned to see. Here's the truth most men miss. Women rarely announce attraction. They hide it behind glances, microgestures, and moments that last half a second too long. The most attractive men almost never know they are. Why? Because real female interest isn't loud. It's cautious. It's layered with plausible deniability. Women don't want to risk rejection, judgment, or being seen as too obvious. So, they speak in a language most men never learn to hear. You think attraction is about compliments, flirtation, or direct pursuit. It isn't. It's about energy, the quiet gravitational pull you create when you walk into a room. When you talk, the rhythm of conversation subtly shifts. People pause a little longer before replying. They listen more closely without realizing why. That's not charisma. That's resonance. When a woman finds you attractive, she doesn't always approach. She adjusts her proximity. She drifts closer during a conversation she wasn't part of. She positions herself within your periphery again and again, testing if your awareness will find her. She steals quick glances. Not the obvious stare, but the repeated rhythmic flick of her eyes that says, "I see you. Do you see me?" Her friends will notice you first. They'll whisper. They'll test the ground with subtle questions about your life, your relationship status, your work, your energy. They won't ask, "Is he single?" They'll ask, "What kind of guy is he?" Because attraction for women is about story, not statistics. Men look for explosions. Women leave breadcrumbs. You think you're unnoticed, but people remember your voice tone, your posture, the way you hold eye contact without flinching. You're not invisible, you're underestimated. You've probably mistaken female nervousness for indifference. When she plays with her jewelry, adjusts her hair, or shifts her stance while talking to you, it's not random. Her body is reacting before her mind has permission to. And then there's what happens between men. You notice it but don't decode it. Some guys start competing around you, talk louder, tell bigger stories, interrupt more. Others go quiet, defer to you, include you in their circle without question. Both reactions are proof of the same thing. They feel your presence. Men only compete with or align behind someone they instinctively recognize as high value. But here's the paradox. The men who truly are magnetic rarely believe it. They have self-awareness, humility, and high standards. They compare themselves to impossible ideals, movie stars, billionaires, athletes, and conclude they fall short. Meanwhile, the loudest, least self-aware men overestimate their worth because they've never measured themselves honestly. The result? The most attractive men are often the least aware of it. Your appeal isn't built on muscles or symmetry, it's built on state. The calm steadiness in your tone. The relaxed confidence in how you stand. The absence of desperation when you talk to women. You don't chase validation because you don't need it, and that, ironically, is what makes you magnetic. Every man has an aura. Some project need. Others project chaos. But the rarest project peace, and peace is seductive. It signals strength without aggression, control without coldness, presence without performance. Women feel it before they understand it. It's the difference between the man who tries to impress and the man who simply is. So, stop assuming silence equals rejection. Stop assuming the lack of obvious flirting means lack of attraction. The truth is, subtle attraction takes confidence to perceive, takes stillness to feel, and you'll never see it if you're too busy proving yourself to notice how the world is already responding. Because every time a conversation pauses when you speak, every time she lingers near you for no reason, every time someone asks, "Are you seeing anyone?" out of nowhere, those aren't coincidences. Those are reflections of a truth you've been too humble to believe. You are more attractive than you realize. You always were. You just never learned to listen to the quiet ways the world tells you so. Here's what nobody tells you about being an attractive man. It's not something you see in the mirror. It's something the world quietly reflects back at you. But because those reflections aren't loud or obvious, you dismiss them. You think, she's just being nice. When she lingers in the conversation, you think, they're just being polite. When people stop talking as soon as you start, you think the attention you get is random, but it isn't. It's a pattern. You've been taught that attraction is a visible thing, a look, a smile, a confession. But real attraction is energetic. It's psychological. It's subtle synchronization, the way people match your tone, mirror your movements, adjust their rhythm to yours. It's the room reacting to your presence without anyone realizing they're doing it. Women don't always approach you. They position themselves near you. They don't tell you they're interested. They create opportunities for you to notice them. They don't compliment your looks. They compliment your energy. You have something different about you. I feel calm around you. Those aren't throwaway lines. They're subconscious acknowledgments of attraction they can't fully name. Attractive men often confuse subtlety for absence. You mistake her quiet fascination for indifference. You think she's uninterested because she's not flirting, when in reality, she's testing your awareness. She's checking if you can read the unspoken. Because real masculinity isn't about chasing. It's about noticing. There's another sign. One you've probably ignored your whole life. The way men respond to you. Some become louder, trying to reclaim the space you naturally command. Others fall silent, defer to you, or try to align themselves with your approval. You don't realize it, but you shift the social hierarchy just by being there. That's what natural presence does. It rearranges the energy of a room. You might not have model-level looks, but you have something far more powerful, congruence. When your words, body, and emotions align, it creates a rare harmony most people can't fake. Women don't fall for perfection, they fall for coherence. For a man who doesn't fight himself. And that's why they can't stop watching you. Not because you're flawless, but because you're real. Confidence isn't about loudness or dominance. It's about calm certainty. The way you pause before answering. The way you don't rush to fill silence. The way you walk through a room without broadcasting yourself. Yet everyone still notices. When you stop chasing validation, something changes. You start radiating a different kind of energy, the one that says, I'm enough whether you see it or not. And ironically, that's when everyone starts to see it. You don't have to become more attractive. You just have to stop doubting that you already are. Because the truth is, the world has been trying to tell you for years, you just haven't been listening closely enough. Here's where everything changes. You've spent years thinking attraction was about luck, looks, or genetics. But the deeper truth is that most women don't fall for faces. They fall for energy. And energy can't be faked. It leaks through everything, how you walk, how you breathe, how you carry silence. When you're around a truly attractive man, you feel something before he even speaks. It's not about muscles or jawlines, it's about presence. A grounded calm that says, I don't need to prove anything. That kind of energy rewires a room. It's the difference between the man who chases attention and the one who doesn't even notice he has it. You see, most men sabotage their own magnetism by overanalyzing everything. Their posture, their voice, their looks. They treat attraction like a performance, not realizing that women are responding to something far more primal. Emotional stability. The man who's comfortable in stillness, who doesn't flinch in silence, who listens without trying to impress. That's the man who stands out. Because calmness is rare. Calmness is power. When you think you're average, you start compensating. You talk too much. You laugh too hard. You mirror others to feel included. But the paradox is that every effort to be liked kills the very energy that would make you magnetic in the first place. Real attraction doesn't come from effort, it comes from absence. The absence of trying. The absence of insecurity. The absence of need. And here's the secret most men never learn. Women are experts in detecting microsignals of self-doubt. You don't have to say you're insecure. They feel it. The forced laugh. The nervous filler words. The restless posture. Your body reveals what your words try to hide. But when you move through the world with quiet confidence, not arrogance, not performance, but quiet self-trust, something shifts. Women sense safety around you. They sense leadership. Their guard lowers. Their interest rises. They might not even know why. Here's what attraction looks like when it's real. She listens more closely when you speak, even if you're saying something simple. She teases you softly, not to offend, but to test your composure. She mirrors your pace. You take a sip, she takes a sip. You lean back, she adjusts. These are micro-alignments, invisible to the untrained eye, but loud to the subconscious. And yet, most men miss them, because they're too busy looking for validation, the obvious compliment, the direct flirt, the clear sign. They don't realize attraction is always indirect. It hides behind contradictions. She ignores you but won't stop glancing at you. She disagrees just to stay in the conversation. She says she's not impressed, but her body language betrays her. Attraction, at its core, is tension, the balance between safety and uncertainty. Women crave both. They want to feel secure in your presence, yet unsure of your next move. That's what keeps them drawn in. Predictability kills mystery. Mystery feeds desire. You know why you think you're average? Because you measure attraction by the reactions you can see. But women express attraction in ways designed not to be seen, to protect themselves from embarrassment or judgment. They act indifferent when they're actually nervous. They act confident when they're actually drawn in. So you misread their silence as rejection, when it's actually interest disguised as control. And that's the tragedy of being a good man who doesn't know his value. You walk through life unaware of the quiet storms you cause in others. The glances, the pauses, the little laughs that linger too long. They're proof. You just never learned the language. But once you start to notice, once you start to trust your own presence, everything changes. You begin to see the patterns. The way people naturally orient themselves toward you. The way groups subtly give you attention. The way women hold eye contact 1 second longer than they should. You begin to realize it was never about being the best. It was about being felt. Attraction is energy management. It's not something you build. It's something you uncover by removing everything false. The insecurity, the performance, the overthinking. Beneath it all, you already have the thing you've been chasing, you just never believed it. You don't have to try harder. You have to notice more. Because the moment you start seeing yourself the way the world already does, that's when everything begins to shift. Here's the truth you eventually come to understand. Attraction isn't a skill you learn or a secret you unlock. It's a mirror. And for most men, that mirror has been distorted by insecurity, comparison, and noise. You've been told you're average because you measured yourself through the lens of attention, how many compliments you get, how many stares you catch, how many women pursue you. But attention isn't attraction. The loudest reactions come from those with the shallowest intent. Real attraction happens quietly, almost invisibly. It's the long glance that turns away too quickly. It's the soft smile that fades when you notice. It's the conversation that lingers longer than it should. The most magnetic men aren't the ones chasing validation. They're the ones so absorbed in their purpose that validation chases them. You've probably been that man without realizing it. When you were focused on your craft, when you were laughing with your friends, when you weren't performing, that's when she noticed. That's when your energy was unguarded. When you radiated something most men lose. Authenticity. The reason you've doubted your own attractiveness is simple. You were looking for evidence in the wrong places. You were waiting for the world to announce your value instead of feeling it within yourself. But real power doesn't announce itself. It just is. The moment you stop asking, "Am I attractive?" and start living as if you already are, something radical happens. People begin to respond differently. They see what you've finally begun to embody. Quiet strength. Grounded presence. The kind of self-respect that doesn't need approval to exist. Here's the paradox most men never learn. The less you need validation, the more it comes. The less you try to be interesting, the more magnetic you become. Because women aren't drawn to perfection, they're drawn to peace. To that subtle confidence that says, "I'm fine with or without your approval." So stop trying to become someone else's idea of attractive. Stop chasing techniques, tactics, and tricks. Your value isn't built, it's revealed. And it's revealed when you remove the layers of doubt that have been hiding it. When you finally understand that, you'll notice something shift. People will begin reacting to you differently. Not because you changed your face, your body, or your clothes, but because you started carrying yourself like a man who already knows who he is. And that realization, that quiet, unshakable knowing, is what makes you more attractive than you ever realized.